Hi everyone. So our topic today is why is 1984 very still much relevant in today's time? The reason for that is because it makes you feel awake of what's happening right now in the world, how you could possibly be manipulated from by politicians or the people who are in power right now. And it's very important to see how those little things that they tell us, what's on the news, propaganda could affect us. Before I read the book, I already had thoughts that this was gonna be a very political book since I knew about Animal Farm. The most shocking ideas that I found on this book were very similar to what North Korea is doing based on North Korean defectors like Yeonmi Park, of course, and other escapees that survived their journey from leaving North Korea. So the book was telling us that somehow even writing or expressing yourself was really hard. The people there were just mindless. We're kind of like machines, mindless robots working for the state where even like having kids, having a relationship was not really seen as something as important, and that every individual was just a part of the state to serve the state, and everything that you do is for the state. In the book, some of the ideas were thought crime, the torture camps, and the fact that everyone is a comrade, not a friend. In thought crime, the book tells us that even just by thinking is a crime. You should only follow what the state tells you to do and not double think about what the state is telling you to do. Because if you do that, that's already a crime. And when you double think, you're supposed to just correct yourself and, oh no, I shouldn't think about that, and you need to correct yourself. Because if you don't control it, eventually the monitoring devices are going to find out because of your actions. You're gonna seem weird, and if you say something because you're thinking about it, then even in your sleep when you're saying it, you'll get caught and anyone could report you. Next is the torture camps. In the statement of the torture camps, this already exists in North Korea. It's known by the people who left there. People who go to torture camps don't really come back alive anymore most of the time, and if they do, they're not okay anymore. They're gonna be different. And in this book, it really showed that. It shows that the people who went there undergo so much process that they become traumatized when they come out, and they're not the same anymore. And it just shows as well that based on the stories of North Korean defectors, that is what happened to people who went to torture camps. They die there, or if not, they come out, but they're not the same anymore. And the third shocking idea that I found in this book is the fact that everyone do not trust anyone anymore. They talk about the situation there where everyone cannot be trusted, even the people you talk to daily or you meet daily. You're supposed to make relationships in your daily life, but to them it's not something that you should do because they could report you if you do something against the state or anything that's not for the state or anything that's just kind of different. So everyone usually just does their job, goes home, because if they try to make new relationships, that's gonna be considered as something like a new thing, and that could mean that they are thinking. And if you're thinking, that's not good. You could die. There's this thought police, and you're supposed to report your observations of someone to them. Even in the book, there's this example where the dad was reported by his daughter because he simply murmured that he hated the brotherhood or the government or the state for what they were doing to them. And so he wasn't even awake, and it was his child who reported him. And so he also went through the torture camp in the end, even though he seemed okay, and he was very much following what the government wanted him to do. And in real life, based on the stories from North Korean defectors, this did happen. How children at school, they were told to tell on their parents of what happened so that the government could do the things that needed to be done. We also know that the opportunists are taking advantage of probably bots or paid bad actors to attack someone, especially from different parties in running office, or from the Senate. We have to be aware that some in real life, there's an example where there's this politician who is being supported by majority of the people, but in the media, the supporters are being portrayed as bad or violent. Like, they attack other people, even on social media they attack, and they would call them a certain name, and it would seem like these people are blindly following this politician. And so some of the people of another team, of another party, would say that these people are retards. They seem to have no respect for the other party. And so it's kind of shifting, because before, a lot of people supported this politician, and he was very much popular, and he actually won on a landslide. But because of the recent things that's been happening in the political scene in the Philippines, this politician is now very much unpopular in the new generation or the younger generation. So for my personal realizations, the book kind of woke me up. I already knew some of it. It's just the way it was told made it so much more compelling, and somehow it made me realize a lot of things as well, because they were more systematic on how the information was portrayed, how Oceania, the country that the protagonist is in, could happen to us if we don't put a check on politicians, if we just allow people to do what they want. The book also enlightens us how malevolent a person can go, meaning a person can be so bad and seem so kind at the same time. There's also a really huge gap of years since the last war, and so most of the people don't really know what it feels like to be in a war, unless you're in the army and you're trained to be deployed like that. But most people are not really aware, or they don't think about war that often. They think about their basic necessity and things that they need to do, about work and their goals and things like that. But overall, people are not thinking about if someone is a spy, someone is trying to kill them, or basically today is a peaceful state that we are in globally, unless you're in Middle East, and there are things, of course, that you have to be worried about there because there is a war there. Basically, we have peace and freedom. So we're very much lucky to be away from that kind of feeling, and that companies are looking forward to do business in this country, but although some are leaving because of what's happening. So what people can learn from this book, the book basically puts you in the perspective of a society that could happen if people are controlled by the state totally, a totalitarianism, which is quite shocking that it's actually happening now, just in some other countries. When he told the truth, what he felt towards this person he looked up to, the person he thought that could help him, he was betrayed. And one of the insightful things that you could learn from this is that how someone so nice, so kind, so easy to talk to would be the person to betray or break you. If you want to read the book, by all means, it's quite easy to read, and it's quite a book for your thoughts to awaken from the happenings of the world. I highly recommend reading this book. So thank you. See you on the next video.